Determine whether the following relation is reflexive, symmetry and transitive. So we have been given the relation will look like x minus y is an integer. So it's going to pick up order pair wherein the difference of the numbers is an integer. So where do we get the x and y from? Where x and y belongs to integer themselves, right? This is very important. If the same question was given to be a natural number, then the answer would have been different. Now, we'll start off with check on reflexive. See, I will teach you guys the line of thinking. The writing will differ, but anyways, I'll do both. So, is it reflexive? So let's consider, say, 145, which is an integer, right? Now, 145 minus 145 is what results in 0, which in turn is an integer. So what can I tell? Well, 145 and 145 belongs to R, and so R is reflexive. Is it not? Well, no, because we can't take a particular number, right? The whole funda is that we can't use a single number to prove the entire thing. Yeah, it might be true for one, but is it true for all is what we have to show. Actually, it is true for all, because if we take up any other number, say a, which represents all the numbers of integers, if I subtract a from a, I'll get 0, and so a and a will belong to R, right? This is the sequence of writing, and previously what I showed is the sequence of thinking. So what you have to write and how you have to think is two different things. You can always think with the help of numbers, and you always have to write in terms of variables. It's very important. Always prove using variables. Does it make sense? Now, so yeah, sorry, I didn't complete. With this, we can tell that it belongs to R and R is reflexive. Okay, it looks okay. Now, we'll check on, next is symmetric. So how do you talk about symmetric? For symmetric, we need to say pick up, say let 10, 14 belong to Z, right? This implies 10 and 14, not Z, sorry, R. These two belong to Z. It is true. It has to be. Now, with this, I can tell 10 minus 14 is equal to minus 4, which in turn belongs to Z. Is this correct? So I'm still thinking of, is it symmetric? So it is true, right? 10 and 14 results in an integer. If I consider, so now if I happen to flip things around, if I consider 14 and 10, so 14 minus 10 results in 4. This also is an integer, and so 14 and 10 will be part of your R, and so R is symmetric, right? So this is how you have to think. Of course, we can't write it this way. We will flip it around. Let me do this. So we'll be making use of variables. So we'll tell A and B belong to R. So A and B belong to Z. Then we have this to be A minus B, which is equal to some M. Okay, some result M, where M belongs to an integer, right? Reason being, difference between integer results in an integer. Now, we have to consider B comma A, right? So B minus a can be rewritten as minus of 1 into a minus b. If you are confused, just multiply minus 1 with this, you will get back the same answer, is it not? Minus 1 into a is minus a, minus 1 into minus b is plus b. Does it make sense? So this both are one and the same expression, just that I can express a minus b as m. Agree? But m is an integer. Like we got minus 4. If I multiply minus 4 with minus 1, I'll get a integer again. Therefore, minus m will also belong to integer. So if this is true, b comma a should belong to R. This implies b comma a belongs to your relation R. And so we can tell R is, this is what? This is symmetric. So this is the way of thinking. Okay. So I'm not going to take up numbers over here, but we can talk it in terms of numbers, but not write it. I'm not going to do that. So check on transitive. So let's think of it. If I have 1 and 3, so I'll just write it over here, 1 and 3, then 3 and 4. So 1 and 3 results in 2, maybe minus 2, in this case minus 1. 1 and 4 results in minus 3. So it is true, right? Transitive has to do with two things are true and the third one has to be true. So in this case 1 and 3 and 3 and 4 results in an integer. So two things are already true. The third one, 1 and 4 is also an integer, and we are done. So here too we'll consider we'll start off with let a comma b belong to R and b comma c belong to R. From this, what can I tell? From this, I will be able to tell that a minus b and b minus c, they result in integer. This belongs to z and b minus c results in an integer. You guys agree? Okay. Again, this is a lengthy version of writing things, but this will be easy for you guys to think. So we'll consider, let me just skip a line. Yeah, we'll consider. So we will consider now a comma c. That's what we have to consider, right? So a comma c will result in a minus c. A minus c, I can rewrite it as a plus b or a minus b plus b minus c. How is that I'm able to do that? All we did was, I'm going to add 0, right? Expressing 0 as, I can add 0, right? Expressing 0 as b minus b or minus b plus b, minus b plus b. Can I do that? So basically a minus b plus b minus c. Can I do this? How? All I did was, whatever was over here, I put 0 in the middle, and in place of 0 I am writing minus b plus b. Okay. Now a minus b and b minus c will result in an integer, is it not? This is m and this is n. So sum of integer belongs to an integer. So we can tell as sum of integer is an integer, and so this results in an integer. So from this, what can I tell? From this I can infer that a comma c belongs to z, and from this I can infer that, so not z, r, my bad, and from this I can infer that R is transitive. With all of this writing, end of it, we'll be able to tell that R is, if all the three are true, it is called as, yes, an equivalent relation. Okay, so with that we'll be able to conclude that it is true for, it holds good for reflexive, symmetry and transitive. Again, here the sequence of thinking is that we are going to pick up variables, right, and prove it. Use variables to prove. Don't use numbers. Whenever something is true, we have to use variables to prove R is true with whatever you guys want. Okay, so this is the sequence of thinking. So here and there you'll be able to reduce the writing, but this is a step-by-step explanation to everything, so I don't want you guys to miss anything. These are initial questions. Write everything, understand everything. In time you guys will be able to cut short this.